Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Lenny again. We're here to talk about some watch stuff, specifically things to do with watches. Now, before we get into it, I'm wearing this little guy. This is a watch and clock maker. It's a rebranded Vostok, and they sold it under this brand in Italy or something. I don't know. I know it's a Vostok. It's a very cheap watch, hand wind. Nice little audible clicks. It's a pretty cheap watch, but I mean, you can see a little Vostok logo there. I like it. Cheap Walmart strap. Nothing fancy. But so today I want to talk to you guys, not necessarily about this watch, but things to do with your watch. In this case, what to do if you have misaligned hands, maladjusted hands, like they don't line up. Like for instance, this one lines up just fine, but you know, if you get a watch that doesn't line up, that's a pain in the ass, and it's something you'll never be able to unsee. Now this watch specifically is Liglige, I don't know. It's a Chinese special. It's a very cheap watch. It keeps decent time, and I mean that literally. It doesn't keep amazing time, but it's a pretty looking watch. I got it for a few bucks off of a Wish app. So we're gonna take this strap off. We're gonna pop the back out and see how it looks. All right, so I've got the straps off. I popped the back off, and despite the way it looks, it's not a screw-off back. It's just a pop-off. So the next step is going to be to take this little stem out. So to do that, we gotta press this little button. I don't know if you can see it right there, but we're going to zoom in real quick before we get into it. Okay, hopefully you can see that just fine. So you see this little button here. I'm going to press that down to take this stem out. Just like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now to get this movement out, we just gotta yank on it a little bit. So I'm gonna take this movement spacer, and I'll pry bar under there. Just like that. Now I'm not too concerned with this watch. It was very cheap, but I'm gonna be as careful as possible. So ta-da! Just like that. Alright, so I'm going to put this stem back in now. Just there. Alright, so we got the stem back in. So anyway, so you can tell these hands are pretty dirty. I've played with this thing before. So if you look here, it's pretty well adjusted. Not bad at all. But what are you going to do if they're not adjusted correctly? How do you fix that at home? Disclaimer, don't try this at home, because this is not the right way to do things. I don't have the proper tools. I do have the tools, but they're not the right ones. So first I'm going to throw these hands out of alignment, and then we're going to attempt to fix it. Okay, as you can see, the hands are not aligned anymore. They're pretty far off, honestly. It's so annoying. I did it on purpose and I still don't like it. That's ridiculous. So that should be 1 o'clock and it's not even at all. There's noon. Oh, it's just terrible. So what are you going to do? Well, there's a couple ways to go about it. There's the right way and the wrong way. First, I'm going to show you the wrong way. So you see, the minute hand needs to go that way to line up with the hour hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tools. Now I got some tweezers with the little plastic cups on them. And I'm going to use the plastic to not damage anything. Even though this is the wrong way to do it, I'm still going to try to do it the right way. At least. So I'm just going to nudge it. That's it. That's all I just did. Now depending on what watch you're playing with, it might be harder. It might be easier to do that. And that's almost perfect. I'm going to try a little bit more. Doesn't take much at all. Now if you have a nicer quality watch, the hands are probably going to be harder to turn for you than it was for me just then. And see, now they're in the right spot. Okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the right way to do it. And the right way to do it is to actually take the hands off and reset them in the right spot. So to do that, I'm going to align the hands at least somewhat together. I'm going to take a piece of plastic I'm going to put it over the hands to protect the face, and I'm going to use my pry bars. Now, if you go online and look up hand removal pry bar things, you're going to be spending anywhere from 20 to like 160 bucks on a nice pair of bent pieces of metal. So what I did was I took a pair of tweezers that I don't use. I took the halves apart, I heated up the end of it, and I took it with a hammer to a round piece of metal down at my shop, gave it a nice little profile, and then I got a metal cutting wheel on my Dremel and cut out a little notch. And I did that twice. You see here. And I sanded it up real good so they're nice and smooth. Like I said, these are the right tools, but they're not the nicest versions. But you know what? They do the trick. So to get these hands off, I'm gonna reach under there just like that and very gently pry. And that's it. The hands just came off. Just like that. Now that we get the hands off, and give them a look. So they kind of fit together. You see the hour hand, it falls often. Oh, come on. So the hour hand, just there, it's got the bigger hole. And the minute hand here, if I can grab it, it's got a relatively smaller hole, as you can see. Okay, so now to get them back on, that's another tricky issue. I don't have the right tools at all for that. I don't even have homemade tools, but it's okay. I'm not exactly worried about it because there is a way to do it if you're careful and not have to worry about anything. Now, one issue with this watch is you can see it's got a 24-hour wheel. So you got to keep that in mind when you're putting the hands back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to noon, just like that. But I got to keep in mind that the hands that I put back on, I got to put them back on at noon. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hour hand and carefully, ever so gently, set it on top of there. Now it's just sat there. I'm not going to press it down with anything hard. So I'm going to take that tweezer with the plastic cap on it, and I'm going to align it as best I can, just like that. I'm going to press down gently, and you'll feel it sink. You'll feel it sink. That's pretty good. Not too shabby. Now the hard part is the minute hand, because not only do you have to get it in the right spot, but you also have to make sure it's aligned as you're doing it. I have no idea what that noise is. All right. So I'm just going to set it down gently, if I can. Oh my God. That is the worst thing to ever happen. That is touching the balance wheel. Oh. Maybe I'm not gentle enough. So I got it kind of sort of on the hole, and I'm just going to nudge it around. All right, now if I press it down, it'll sink where I want it to be, but that's not in the right spot. So I'm going to very gently, careful to avoid the face, I'm going to make sure this hand is right where it needs to be. See? It's pretty bad. Those are some dirty hands, but they're aligned. So I'm going to take my plastic cup again, and I'm going to very gently press on as close to the center as I can as to not deform those hands. And very gently apply a little pressure, and you'll see it go. And yeah, that's it. We just align the hands the right way with the wrong tools. But anyway, that's how you do it. Like I said, don't try this at home. If you got a nice watch and the hands are misaligned, take it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't send it to me, and don't do it yourself. And I have to say that so no one bitches at me. Anyway, that about wraps it up. My name's Lenny. Today we aligned some hands. We did it ourselves, not the right way to do it, but hey, we got the job done. And thanks for watching. Where would you like?